Welcome back to my channel, homebodies. My name's Amy. Welcome to my channel, Catskill Mountain Homebody. All right, welcome to Super Bowl Sunday weekend. We made it to Super Bowl Sunday weekend. Look who's saying hello. Hi, Scouty. Hi, Beba. He thinks I'm like, I don't know what he thinks. He thinks I'm eating or something. I don't have any food. And here's Chipper Bear. Say hi. Are you guys excited for the Super Bowl? I think they're very excited for the Super Bowl. Okay, so it's the second week of February. By the way, it's been really windy here in the Catskills and very cold. Even though the weather has been unseasonably warm, the wind makes it feel much colder than the actual temperature is. But today it's about 35 degrees, but there is a little bit of a wind chill. I thought I would do a little grocery haul to start this video. Obviously, I'm gonna be cooking for Super Bowl Sunday all day tomorrow. So that is going to be the end part of this video. But I thought for the beginning, because Joe and I went to the grocery store today. It's Saturday, the day before the Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl Eve. So I thought I'd show you a little bit of what we got in preparation for the appetizer dinner I'm making tomorrow and a couple other things that I needed. All right, it seems a little dark in here. Hopefully you can see everything. All right, so this is a little bit of what I got at ShopRite for Super Bowl Sunday. Okay, so obviously some things I bought are not for Super Bowl. They had a sale on the Bowl and Basket, which is the ShopRite brand. So they had a sale on their coffee. So I got a French vanilla and a maple bourbon coffee because Joe and I like to have flavored coffee. This is just lettuce for salads for the week for work. So that's what that's for. I bought kitchen garbage bags. I ended up getting the Glad kind. None of that obviously is for Super Bowl. I also bought some night cream. I was out of my night cream, so that's obviously not for Super Bowl. All right, what did I get for Super Bowl tomorrow though? So if you watched my video on the plans for Super Bowl Sunday, I told you about 3 recipes that I'm making. One of those recipes has changed. So I am making the Mediterranean dip, which is like a layered dip with hummus and Greek yogurt and feta, and then a layer of like tomatoes and cucumbers and veggies. So I bought, to dip in that, I bought 2 red peppers. They had really beautiful red peppers at ShopRite. Look how big that is. So I bought 2 of those to slice up for the veggie dip. And I got 2 of these English cucumbers. I got a bunch of tomatoes for the dip, so a whole bunch of those. This is not for Super Bowl Sunday, but I always like to have cherry tomatoes on hand, either for salads or for cooking. So I just got that. I got some feta crumbled regular cheese, some low-fat Greek plain yogurt. I got some baby carrots, which are going to be good for dipping in the Mediterranean dip. I just realized I forgot to buy the hummus. So I guess I'm running out to the store again today. Or Joe will do it later tonight and get some plain hummus. All right, anyway. I needed some onions, so I got a variety pack of a red, a white, and a yellow onion. I got a jar of roasted red peppers, which I don't even think is any of the recipes, but I had a coupon. I got 2 cans of artichoke hearts. I got a big thing of fresh Italian parsley. The store was out of green onions, so I ended up just getting these freeze-dried chives. All right, so for the chicken meatballs, I got 3 packages of ground chicken, about 92% fat free. I got 3 pounds of that because we're gonna make I'm making a lot of the chicken meatballs. These are buffalo chicken meatballs, and so I wanted to double that recipe, so I got 3 packages of that. I couldn't find the green onions, so I got the chives. I got a buffalo wing sauce I'm gonna need for the meatballs. All right, so in my last video where I talked about what we were planning to make for Super Bowl Sunday, I talked about an Italian hot sandwich that I'm not making now. I'm gonna make instead it's like Italian meatball sliders. And the reason for the change is there's been a listeria outbreak tied to all different kinds of Italian meats like prosciutto and salami and ham. And I didn't want to take a chance of getting listeria because that outbreak has been going on. It's been in the news for quite a while. And there was this big recall that happened last week. So I told Joe I'm scrapping that recipe and I'm gonna make a meatball, kind of like sliders, but they're with Italian meatballs. So I bought for that recipe 1 package of sweet Italian sausage meat and a package of ground beef. I bought 12 slider buns. I'm gonna make 12 meatball sliders. Okay, so the meatball sliders need tomato sauce. So as you guys know, I freeze my homemade sauce. So I have taken this out of the freezer this morning and I'm gonna be using this sauce to make the meatball sliders. So that's my own, that's my own sauce that I always have frozen. I'm actually running low, so I'm gonna have to make another pot of sauce soon. Not this weekend. Anyway, I bought a gallon of water I was keeping in the fridge, and I bought a 4-pack of toilet paper. I bought these pita chip crackers for the dip, the Mediterranean dip, because Joe likes to dip crackers into the dip. I'm gonna use vegetables. These were on sale, like 2 for $4 or something like that, so we just bought 2, or maybe 2 for $5. So we just got the 2 to get the deal. So that's the main stuff that I bought for Super Bowl. Plus, I did buy 3 avocados, a bunch of bananas, and the other thing that I bought, I'll show you. I bought a little package of stew meat that I'm gonna use to make a beef soup in the crock pot on Tuesday. So that's not for Super Bowl. We also bought a 24-pack of eggs and half. Joe likes to have half and half in his coffee. A few other essential things I bought, but that's the bulk of the main stuff that I bought. There's a few other things that I bought that I'm not even remembering right now. So now, guess what I have to do? I'm running back out to shop right now to pick up hummus. That's what we have to do. You gotta roll with the punches sometime. All right, you have to go outside? Okay, mommy walk you. All right, just a quick update. I just got back from ShopRite. Luckily, the ShopRite's a 5-minute drive from here. And look what I found. They had green onions, or scallions, which I need for one of my recipes for tomorrow. And I got classic hummus, family size. So I'm good for tomorrow now. No more runs out to the store. So I'm very, very happy about that. All right, next time I see you guys, we'll be cooking on Super Bowl Sunday. Yay, appetizer dinner. All right, see you tomorrow. Welcome to Super Bowl Sunday. Chipper says hello. The jumping pug says hello. Say hello. That's my baby. All right, we made it to Super Bowl Sunday. So for me, this is a big day of cooking and a little baking. Are you excited? Are you excited? All right, so the plan for today is appetizer dinner, which is pretty much just like making appetizers all afternoon, and we just eat a little bit all day. And then there's gonna be a lot of leftovers because it's just me and Joe this year. I got a little bit of a later start today than I wanted to. It's 11:30 and I wanna do the brownies first because I want them to bake and just be cool for later, for whenever we wanna have them. So we're gonna make homemade brownies. I'm gonna show you how I'm doing that. And all the recipes for today I'll put in the description of the video. All right, so I have on my football mom shirt, and this is a cute little football bead bracelet that I bought years ago. So yes, I am a football mom. My son started playing football in 3rd grade, and he played all the way through high school, and then he did play 1 season in college. So we have been a football family. However, I still don't really understand the game of football, and a lot of people don't understand that. Because how could I have watched football for all those years and still really not known much about how to play the game? This is how this football mom watched football. So when my son wasn't on the field, kind of vaguely paying attention to the game and talking to the parents and Joe and, you know, socializing on the side of the field. The minute my son goes in the game, my eyes are on my son. His number was number 12 for many years. All right, so as soon as my son goes on the field, my eyes are on number 12, and I'm watching number 12 to make sure he's not hurt. And I'm not paying attention to the game or what's happening or what the rules are. I'm just looking at my son to make sure he doesn't get hurt, because that was my fear every single game. So yeah, I'm watching him, and then he's good. Now, of course, if he like did something like caught a pass, made a touchdown, then I would cheer. Or if somebody else made a touchdown, I would cheer if it was our team. Other than that, I'm not really watching the game. I'm making sure my son's not hurt. And then when he comes out, I can relax. And then I'm back to talking to people. So I really, over the years, just didn't pay attention to how the game was played. And I don't know the rules. I still don't know what downs are. When they used to throw penalty flags, I didn't know why. I didn't understand what they were talking about. I just didn't bother to really get to know the game because my focus was always on whether or not my son was hurt. And that's how this mom watched football. So this is why I just don't want to watch football. Like, I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl because I don't understand the game. I don't have an interest in understanding the game. It's just not interesting to me. So the game will be on, and I'll be able to maybe watch some of the commercials. I've seen most of the commercials on the Today Show or online. So, and the halftime show, maybe I'll watch that. Other than that, I'm not really going to be watching the game. But my husband's going to watch the game because his favorite team, the Kansas City Chiefs, are playing. And that has been his favorite team ever since he first started watching football, because that was the first football game he ever watched, was the Chiefs game. So then he decided to become a Chiefs fan. So ever since I've known my husband, he's been a Chiefs fan. We actually went to a Chiefs game against the Cardinals back in 1995, I think we went, in Arizona. So we've even been to a Chiefs game, again, 100 years ago. But that's the only professional football game I've ever gone to, was that Chiefs game. So let's get started baking the brownies. So I've already pulled the ingredients. Let's look at that. All right, we're going to need 1 cup of butter, which is 2 sticks. You need unsalted butter. We're going to need a little bit of vanilla extract. We are going to need some chocolate chips. Even though this looks like I'm running low, I actually have another package of chocolate chips if I need to replenish that. We're going to need unsweetened cocoa. We don't really need the pan because we're going to use parchment paper, but I took it out anyway, just in case. We're going to need 4 eggs. We're going to need some baking powder. A little bit of salt. And remember, I keep my trusty flour, sugar, and brown sugar in these canisters. So we're going to need flour and granulated sugar for this recipe. And I'm going to be preheating the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So let me do that now. All right, we're going to actually melt the ingredients, the first ingredients, in a saucepan on the stove. So let me pull out my saucepan. Okay, so those brownies have to bake in a 350-degree oven for 40 minutes, and they're done. So I added the walnuts. If you want to keep it plain, you don't need to add anything to those brownies. They're already going to be very fudgy. 1 recipe down, 3 to go. All right, the next recipe we're going to make is a delicious Mediterranean dip with hummus, which I love. I'm going to make this first because we can just eat it all day. I'm also going to bring this to work this week because I know there's going to be leftovers as a nice lunch. So that's going to take a lot of vegetable prepping. So that's my next recipe. It's time to make Mediterranean dip. Let me show you all the ingredients that I've pulled out. We're not going to use this whole jar of roasted red peppers. Maybe a fourth of the jar. 2 cans of quartered artichoke hearts. We're going to need some sliced Kalamata olives. Again, not this whole jar. We're going to use part of it. We're going to need a little bit of low-fat plain Greek yogurt. Again, I'm going to tell you the measurements in the video, but we're not going to use this much. A little bit of paprika. We're going to use about, I think, 4 ounces of hummus. I just bought the classic plain hummus. You're going to need a little bit of feta cheese. Again, I'm not going to use this whole thing. All right, we're going to need some cucumbers. I'm going to actually cube up some of these cucumbers to put in the dip, and then I'm going to slice the rest to use as a, to dip in the dip. I'm going to be putting in 2 tomatoes chopped up, a little bit of fresh Italian parsley. So those, plus a little salt and pepper. Those are the main ingredients for the Mediterranean salsa that we're making. And I have prepared a square baking dish that I have lined with saran wrap or plastic wrap just to make cleanup easier. So that's where I'm going to be layering the dip. So first thing I have to do is prep the vegetables. right, the dip is cooling in and setting up in the fridge, although you could serve it right away. We're not gonna eat it yet. I am going to cut up this other cucumber to use as to dip into the dip. So that's the next thing I'm gonna do. The brownies are still baking in the oven, they're almost done. And then we gotta move on to the next recipe. I've just cleaned up the kitchen from the Mediterranean dip. So that recipe is a lot of prep in terms of like cutting the vegetables. 2 recipes down, 2 to go. All right, the last 2 recipes we're gonna eat as soon as it comes out of the oven. So I don't wanna make those too early. It's 1:10 right now. So I'm gonna start those around 3 because we don't wanna eat, this isn't really lunch. I'd rather start eating around 4 o'clock and then by 6 o'clock, we'll have the second thing. So maybe a couple hours. I have a lot of schoolwork to do. Scout's telling me he has to go out. Let me show you what he does. He has to go out. He stands between my legs. Look at this boy. And he just stands there and he looks at me and he just waits until I'm ready to walk him. So that's my signal that I have to walk my beagle. So I'm gonna walk him, I'm gonna get some schoolwork done, and when we come back, I'll show you the brownies, and we will start on the chicken meatballs. Will probably be the next thing I make. I gotta walk Scout. Chipper and I are taking a break in the living room. He's so silly. He's so silly. Just look at that face. So funny. Okay, I just did a bunch of schoolwork that I needed to do today for next week. The brownies are cooling. I'll show you when I cut them up. The Mediterranean dip is chilling. So I have some free time on this Super Bowl Sunday with my little buddy Chipper. He's so adorable. Scout doesn't like to sit on me that often. Sometimes if he's tired, he wants to snuggle on me. And then Chipper has to come up too. So then I have 2 puppies on my lap. But mostly it's this one. Yeah. It's mostly you. It's mostly you. Oh, so it is nice to have some free time on this Sunday. And actually, it's going to be very unseasonably warm this week in the Catskills. It's going to be in the 50s. So we do have some snow left on the ground from January. That will probably all be melted away this week. And then we'll see what the end of the month in March brings. Usually we do have snowstorms in March. So we'll see what that is going to bring us. What do you think, Chipper? If you can't tell, Chipper is tired. Time for his nap. Oh, before I forget, please consider subscribing to my channel, Catskill Mountain Homebody, if you like these types of videos. Baking, cooking, if you're interested in the Catskill Mountain area, if you like farmhouse style, decorating. I'm going to be doing decorating for the spring on March 1st, so that video will be up in early March. But consider subscribing and joining us if you're interested in any of those videos. And welcome back to those who have already subscribed. Since this video is going to be out probably after Valentine's Day, I thought I would take you guys upstairs to see a little something I bought Joe for Valentine's Day. I already got his card. And I got him a little sweet candy treat. All right, let's go upstairs and I'll show you guys what I got him. Okay, so I was trying to be quiet upstairs. I didn't want to talk on the camera because he's in the next room. The reason I bought that mug for him for Valentine's Day is because you guys know I like to go to thrift stores. And I had been to a thrift store in 2021 and I found this big mug, big coffee mug, and it was advertising the Ghirardelli Chocolate Company. It wasn't that old of a mug, maybe it was from the 80s or 90s, and he loved it because it was really big and he could put his coffee in it and it was microwavable. Yes, he used it all the time, and you guys know I love the dishwasher, so it had a lot of crazing, but I didn't think it was a big deal. I thought it was, you know, fine. But one day I pulled it out of the dishwasher and the handle snapped off. It just fell off. So obviously the crazing was, the cracks were a little bit deeper than I thought they were. So I had to throw it out. And ever since then he's been complaining that he misses his big mug. Now I haven't been able to find a mug as big as that one that is microwave safe. I know they make them, but I just haven't found them. But I did find that one at Marshall's, and it is dishwasher and microwave safe, fairly big. So he should be able to fit a lot of coffee. He likes to make big cups of coffee. So I don't know. I thought maybe that would be something fun to give him for Valentine's Day. And again, I got him a card and a little sweet treat. And that's pretty much what we're gonna do for Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day this year is a dud because I am working, and even though Joe's always home because he works from home, I have to work until like 5:30 at night. And honestly, I think I'm just gonna make a crock pot beef soup for dinner, and that'll be our easy dinner. And we're not gonna do anything spectacular on Valentine's Day, except exchange cards. So that's my Valentine's Day plans. Chipper's looking at me. Look at this boy. All right, so when we come back, I'll be starting on the buffalo meatballs. The day is moving right along. Joe and I did not have lunch. We did both have breakfast, but we didn't have lunch, and it's 3:40. So I'm gonna start the chicken meatballs, and in a little while we're gonna eat the Mediterranean dip with some chicken meatballs. And the last recipe I'll make later on tonight will be the Italian meatball sliders. Those meatball sliders have a little bit of preparation. So did the chicken meatballs. So, yeah, the meatball sliders are going to be a little bit of a challenge in terms of, like, work. But that's okay, because I'm not watching the game, so it doesn't matter. Chipper's very unhappy because his brother is outside with Daddy, and he's inside with Mommy. But we've told him many times, you are a kitchen pug. Scout's an outdoor dog. He's a beagle. He has to sniff stuff outside, but you're a kitchen dog. You're a kitchen pug. Let's talk about the buffalo chicken meatball recipe. I'm doubling this recipe. We're gonna have lots of leftovers, which we'll eat tomorrow night for dinner, or Joe will eat it for a snack or whatever. We're definitely not gonna eat all this today, but I wanted to make a double batch because this is one of our favorites, and I don't make it very often. I make it a couple times a year, and that's about it. All right, so as I showed you yesterday, I got 3 1-pound packages of ground chicken, which I'm going to be putting in this gigantic bowl. So I'm going to need some carrots that I'm going to shred. I'm going to finely shred them with this shredder. Stalks of celery I'm going to mince. I need 2 green onions or scallions I'm going to mince. I'm going to need 2 eggs. About 4 cloves of garlic minced. A little bit of paprika, 1 cup of panko breadcrumbs. which I've already measured out. And then, yes, the buffalo sauce. And then we top these with blue cheese dressing. So let's get to work. So I'm going to dump the chicken into this big bowl first. You don't want to overmix the meatballs, it'll get tough. All right, now we're gonna bake these in different batches because I made a double batch. So we're not gonna be able to do this in one shot. I am going to roll these into little meatballs and place them on a baking sheet with parchment paper. Let me show you. Okay, I have a baking sheet. I use a rimmed baking sheet because these are gonna be greasy. I've lined it with some parchment. I am going to roll a bunch of meatballs out. And I'm going to use my small cookie scoop to scoop these into little meatballs. We're going to place them on this cookie sheet and bake them at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes. I have another pan with a lid, with a lip, baking with parchment paper. I'm gonna make the next round of meatballs. When the meatballs come out of the oven, we're gonna toss them in the buffalo sauce in this bowl and cover them to keep them warm. And then we're gonna keep going. This is 2/3 cup of buffalo wing sauce. All right, I'm gonna get some celery sticks ready to eat with the buffalo meatballs and with the Mediterranean dip. We have made it to the final recipe of the night, and it's 7 o'clock at night. The game has started. All right, so I'm gonna make these Italian meatball sliders. So let me show you what I've pulled out. I don't have everything out, but I'm gonna use 1 pound of lean ground beef, 1 package. This is 1 pound of sweet Italian sausage. I'm gonna need some garlic, some chopped onion. This is sliced provolone cheese that I bought at ShopRite. We're gonna need 1 egg. I have my homemade tomato sauce out that I'm gonna put in this. We're gonna need some Italian breadcrumbs that I keep in this canister. Some olive oil. We got the 12 slider rolls. I'm gonna need some crushed red pepper, a little bit of oregano. I also have to pull out my fresh parsley. I'm gonna need about 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh parsley. That's not all the ingredients. I'm also gonna need milk and a bunch of other things. And this is my chipper bear. So earlier before, I dressed him in the Chiefs outfit. He didn't like it, but he did sit still enough for me to get a short video. He didn't like it. Okay, so I'm gonna pull also, I'm also gonna pull out some Parmesan cheese, a little bit of mozzarella, I don't know, butter. There's a lot of different things I have to put in this recipe. I will put it all in the description, do not worry. All right, so let me get a big bowl and we're gonna start mixing together the meat, and I gotta start cutting the onions and the garlic. So let's get chopping. In a large frying pan, I've added some olive oil, which I'm heating over medium-high heat. To this, I'm going to be frying the onions I just chopped. I also have my lipped baking tray with some parchment. We're going to be making the meatballs and putting them on here to bake. No, actually, I'm going to have to preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Once these start softening up, about 5 minutes, we're going to add them to the bowl with the breadcrumbs. And we're going to mix them together. Then we're going to add all the other meatball ingredients into there. We're going to need this frying pan later, so I'm just going to set it off to hot heat and save it for the sauce later. In the meantime, we got to add all the other meat and ingredients to this bowl. We're going to add the sausage and the ground beef first. These are ready for the oven. They're going to bake at 400 for about 18 minutes. Okay, while those are cooking for 18 minutes, I'm going to take the skillet back out, and when they come out of the oven, they're going to go in the skillet with the sauce, and I'm going to be heating up the sauce with the meatballs for another 10 minutes. Then we're going to put the sliders together. In the meantime, I have to chop another clove of garlic for the top of the sliders. All right, while the meatballs are in the oven, I'm going to clean up and get ready for stage 2 of the meatballs. All right, just pulled these out of the oven. They're going to go into the hot frying pan with this sauce for another 10 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna saute this and mix this in with the sauce while we thicken up the sauce. And remember, this is my homemade sauce. If you have a favorite jarred sauce you want to use, you need only 1 cup. So we're gonna cook this over medium heat for another 10 minutes and let the sauce kind of thicken up and cover the meatballs. And then we're gonna start making the sliders. Okay, while that's cooking, I'm gonna make some garlic butter. So I have 4 tablespoons of butter. 4 tablespoons of butter here that I just cut. That's maybe a little bit less than that, that's okay. I'm gonna put it in the microwave for about a minute just to melt it. And my garlic that I chopped up 1 clove of garlic and a little bit of Italian seasonings. And I'm gonna add about a half a teaspoon of basil, oregano, and rosemary. And that's gonna top the sliders. Oh, I'm gonna add a little bit of grated cheese too. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of grated Romano. That's it. All right, that's it. I'm gonna mix this together. This is gonna be the topping on top of the sliders. And we're gonna be putting these sliders together in a couple minutes. Okay, I'm gonna use this glass baking dish to bake the sliders because I feel like they're gonna be very messy. So I wanted something that will catch any extra sauce. I have 12 bottoms of slider buns. We're gonna put 1 meatball on each of these sliders. First, we're gonna layer this with a layer of provolone. Then we're gonna put 1 meatball on each top with a little bit of mozzarella, and then we're gonna we're gonna put the top of the slider buns on there. We're gonna coat it with some garlic butter and bake it. So the meatballs are gonna get baked in the oven again at 350 degrees now, not 400. And we're almost done. And to be honest, it's kind of late, and I don't even know if we're gonna eat these. We might each have 1, and then this will be dinner tomorrow night. So this is what we're gonna do. I took out a polio mozzarella. I think what I'm gonna do is just slice it thin and put one little thin slice over each of the meatballs. Okay, we're gonna layer the bottom of these with provolone slices. So I bought these provolone slices, and I presume this is gonna keep the bottom from getting too soggy. So we're gonna layer the provolone slices over every single one of these. I'm gonna overlap them actually. And then we're gonna lay the meatballs on each one of the buns. So we have 12 buns and we're gonna have 12 meatballs on here. And this is another reason why I wanted to use a deep baking tray, because I don't want to have a mess in the bottom of on the bottom of my oven. All right, that's good. We're gonna lay now all the meatballs 3 in a row. I'm gonna put a meatball on each of these sliders. So I'm gonna put a little bit of sauce on each of these from the pan. A little bit of sauce on each one from your tray. Again, I only use 1 cup of sauce, so you don't want too much sauce on these. That's it. Each of these have a little bit of sauce. I didn't go crazy. That's pretty much all the sauce. I used it all. All right, let's slice a little bit of mozzarella to go on top of these, and then we're gonna put the lids on. Okay, that's all the mozzarella I'm gonna put on them. I'm not gonna go crazy with the mozzarella. All right, let me put the mozzarella away and then I'm gonna top these. I feel like I've been cooking all day and I really haven't. Maybe I'm just tired. All right, I'm gonna lid these now, put the lids on them, and we're gonna put the butter on the top. All right, I did push them down a little so that they're snug. And now I'm gonna use my pastry brush to brush the top of these with the garlic butter. I have lowered the heat in my oven to 350. These are going in another 15 minutes. Maybe 20, but I think 15 is going to be good. And then they're ready to eat. And I don't know who's going to eat them. Probably not me or Joe. I don't know. We might each have one. All right, and then I'll show you them when they come out. Okay. I can't show much of Rihanna singing. All right, I'm about to pull these meatballs out of the oven. These meatball sliders. Let's see how they look. Ooh, they're all melty. You can see the meatball underneath there. The tops are all toasty. Cheese is all melted. All right, I'll take some photographs and add them to this video. Thank you so much for joining me today on this Super Bowl Sunday for our appetizer dinner. I hope that your favorite team wins if you watch American football. If not, maybe you'll try some of these recipes or bake the brownies for your family. Or maybe you want to try having an appetizer dinner for your family, which is kind of a fun, different dinner that we like to do on Super Bowl. So, it's 8:30. The halftime show is going on. I'm going to go down. I'm going to sit down. Of course, I'll watch that online later. I am going to sit down and relax for the rest of the evening and kind of keep track of what's happening with the game. My husband wants the Chiefs to win, so good luck, Chiefs. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys in the next video.